Hey, welcome back. It's gone a lot wetter since we last left you. And I'm going to stay here and hold an umbrella as Matt diligently continues his tour for you of Monocacy Battlefield.
Well, we greatly appreciate you guys sticking around with us in this rainy day, weather that is entirely different than the conditions here at Monocacy on July 9th, 1864. We were actually at a near drought stage at that point, 90-some degree weather during the fighting. By this point in the day, though, around 5 p.m., the retreat has been ordered by Major General Lew Wallace. Union forces have fallen back or begun to fall back from the Thomas Farm, crossing over the Georgetown Pike and passing right through this area, right through the Gambrill Mill. Now, James Gambrill had actually purchased this mill in 1855. He had been the miller here for many years before, but he purchased it himself in 1855 and begun to raise his family. When it became clear that there would be fighting here at the junction or near Monocacy Junction, he would have himself and his sons hunker down in the mill building behind you, and he sent his wife, who was very pregnant at the time, and their daughter over to the Thomas Farm, thinking that they would be safe there with the Thomas family. But of course, as we've discussed, Thomas Farm was right in the center of this engagement. When federal forces are falling back, they will actually move off to the east of us, heading northeast up an old road trace that is now one of our trails here at the battlefield today. They would actually continue moving northeast until they would reach Route 144, the old Baltimore Pike. From there, they would move directly east towards Ellicott City, or what was known as Ellicott Mills at the time, where they would pick up trains and be shipped back to Baltimore. The defense of the Jug Bridge would collapse at around 6:30 in the evening. They have held Confederate forces there back as long as they can, preserving the Union retreat route until that point, and then they too would begin falling back to the east. Now, as this retreat is moving through the area, we still have a few Federal soldiers to the north of us. Those 75 men or so from the 10th Vermont that were guarding the Iron Railroad Bridge, they then saw their comrades falling back behind them, and they too would move out. Lieutenant George Davis wrote a series of letters following this battle describing the situation, commenting about how a number of his men were captured by the close Confederate pursuit by having their coat collars seized. He would even go so far as to write that if one more man had to have been taken, it would have been me. That's how close the Confederate pursuers were. George Davis and his men would succeed in getting over the open railroad grade over the Monocacy River to this side and then continue with the retreat. He would lose some of his men, but he got the majority of his command out of there, and he will receive the Medal of Honor for his actions here at Monocacy, for guarding those two bridges for as long as he did and then getting out of the area with his command. Interestingly enough, we do have a second Medal of Honor that is earned here at Monocacy, and it's also from a gentleman in the 10th Vermont. This would be Alexander Scott, the color corporal of the color guard, or one of the color corporals of the guard. He is carrying the state flag of or the regimental banner of the 10th Vermont Infantry, and as they are falling back through this area, he would see his color sergeant with the national flag go down. The man hadn't been hit, he was merely exhausted trying to run with this massive flag in this incredibly hot and humid weather. Alexander Scott will go back, scoop up the national colors, and now retreats off the field under fire carrying both of these banners. Confederate forces would pursue the Confederate forces would pursue the Union troops until about 7 p.m., and then they come back here to Monocacy Junction to deal with the wounded and the dead of the battlefield. But Jubal Early knows he cannot stick around long, and those men who didn't fight here with his command are up at dawn the next day and continue moving southward towards Washington. Those Confederates that did fight here at Monocacy, they're given a few more hours rest, but they'll also be in charge of destroying the infrastructure for the railroad here at the junction. and they are going to burn everything around Monocacy Junction on July 10th. All the infrastructure for the railroad. They would even fire cannons at the Iron Railroad Bridge, trying to destroy it. They would only partially damage that structure, and the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, just a few days after the Confederates move out of the area, would succeed in getting that bridge reopened. Now, with Confederate forces on the move once again, we're going to wrap things back up talking about the advance on Washington and the fighting that would occur outside of the national capital.